Let's start. Paano nagsimula? Paano kayo nagkakilala? When did it all begin, sir?
Yeah. Well, I would say that prior to my personal meeting with the then presidential candidate, FVR, or Fidel B. Ramos, I was invited by General Jose Almonte in his office, EEIB. And then he requested me to bring the coalition of Christian leaders
Okay.
to his office. It took General Monte more than 2 hours, I think, or almost three, when he showed to us through videos the Philippine 2000 vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he showed us. At first, I refused to meet Secretary General Monte because I used to be a radical activist, atheist during my Marcos time. I was imprisoned twice during Marcos time, no?
Medyo
So
kontra
I have
sa...
I have allergic sa mga military. But General Monte was so insistent. He tried persistent. Eventually, I accepted the invitation. Then he convinced us about the rationality and doability of Philippine 2000 vision.
Ito yung programa ni FBR. Di ba? That was
Yeah,
his
yeah.
program of government. So, kandidato na siya nun.
Oh, yes, kandidato siya. Pero wala pang political fever noon, wala pang election fever. Then, during the campaign period, our coalition movement, the Philippines for Jesus movement, being the founding chairman at the time, we interviewed all presidential candidates.
Oh. So, you had a process.
Yes, yes.
Vetting.
Yes. I remember different presidential candidates, Mitra and others. But our office at the time was in front of Malacanang Palace. We rented a certain place there as our office. So almost all presidential candidates went there to be interviewed by our key people of the coalition movement.
Hindi lang Philippines for Jesus. Hindi lang yung PJM.
The JIL and PGM, yun ang simula. At, well, without saying, na-impress kami ni then presidential candidate FBR.
Bakit? What stood out? What made him...
Well, we felt of his, I would say, no-nonsense presentation of his platform of government in a nutshell. And because of his sterling military record, we believe he had that needed political will to implement such platform of government. And because he was not a professional politician, so I felt in my own heart, and I tried to influence, of course, our comrades in the coalition. This could be a great chance for our country to experience our long-time dream, to have a breakthrough, because yes, as a former radical activist, imprisoned twice during Marcos time. I went up to the hills for a short time in Tinago Island in Bicol. I had so many experiences in fighting for the good of our country.
Was it important to you na hindi siya yung traditional politician?
Yes, that is very important dahil parang sama na rin ako sa sa mga traditional politicians no. At saka nakita ko rin yung kanyang 5 points program noon, yung peace and stability, yung economic growth and sustainable development, energy and power regeneration. Yung, of course, environmental protection and I think streamlining the bureaucracy, because I am a political economist. In my, I used to teach in college.
I'm surprised. You still remember the... Naalala mo pa yung points of of his
Yeah,
yung key points of his
yes,
program.
some of them.
Okay.
Of course, what I cannot forget is his success in dismantling the monopoly.
Okay. Yeah.
PLDT and PAL, I think it's specific examples.
Oh. Oh. I'll get to that, But the other thing I want to ask is why a military man? And
Yeah,
di ba, given your background, he was he was one of the chief implementors of martial law, and you went into hiding during
yes, you're
martial
right, you're right. Well, General Almonte shared to us their experience in the mountains.
law.
And when they were fighting Hukbalahaps, and they were in the mountains to kill the so-called communists, including Hukbalahaps. And General Almonte shared to us that there was a time that they asked themselves, the then captain, I think Captain Ramos, asked the, Lieutenant Almonte, why are we here killing our fellow Filipinos? So, in sharing those experiences, I sense that this man, being a graduate of West Point, exposed to American democracy, I was convinced that he has that principle that although he used to be a military man, but I believe educated, a gentleman, not abusive, like other military dictators in history, I have to confess that General Almonte, in a gentle manner, convinced our leadership prior to the interviews of these presidential candidates.
Okay.
And I was also, I told our leadership, part of the program is to establish the so-called group of 4 to 5 barangays. I think, how do you call that? Clusters of barangays. They will establish moral recovery Bible center along that line.
Okay.
And just to implement eventually, just implement the moral recovery programs of Ramos government, which is a continuation supposed to be of the moral rearmament program of President Marcos. And I remember Presidential Proclamation number 62, otherwise known as Moral Recovery Program. Although, sad to say, the promise to us of the administration of President Ramos to establish cluster of 4 to 5 barangays nationwide was not really was not fully implemented. And probably, well, I just thought that they were so very busy in restarting, or I would say, building the foundation of this Philippine 2000 vision.
Nag-ano ba? Did it come as a surprise that a man steeped in the principles of war, who studied war, and basically it's the act of killing, was so bent on pursuing the path of peace?
Yeah, it dawned on me that then presidential candidate Fidel Ramos is very qualified to advance the program of peace and development because in the first place he was exposed in the so-called I would say American democracy, being a graduate of West Point, and also we all know he's one of the two major heroes of People's Revolution. Despite that he is a relative or a cousin of former President Marcos, he staked his life just to restore democracy, put an end to dictatorship. To me, he's a genuine hero of restoring democracy, freedom, and liberty in our country when he decided, together with then, I think, Defense Secretary, Ponce Enrile, yeah, that paved the way for Cory Aquino's presidency.
You also took a chance in EDSA, huh? Because
Oh, yes.
you asked your followers to be among the first
It's
human
good you remember
shield.
that. It's good you remember that. I spent 2 days and 2 nights in DCJB, no, DCAS radio station in PBS, in FEBC, rallying the people to go to EDSA, and our people went there. Not to participate in any violent program, but to be peacemakers. And I remember my wife and my 2 kids at the time, together with JIL leaders, they went to EDSA giving food. While I was in the radio station, rallying the people, go there as peacemakers, to prevent unnecessary violence. So I remember I did not sleep for 2 nights at the time. That's why you can see in video someone is jumping with Jesus is Lord, Jesus is Lord. It is documentary, yes.
But noon pa man ba you already saw something in General Ramos at that time?
Pardon?
At that time, in EDSA, 1986? I mean,
When
bakit kayo tumaya on their side?
When Enrile and Ramos decided to to depart from Marcos' administration, they staked their lives. And because I am a full-blooded, I would say, democratic, full-blooded guy, I really hated dictatorship. That is my nature.
Oh, okay.
I used to lead rallies in front of Malacanang before. I was one of the spokesmen of the Lipanto Boys of Dr. Prudente.
Oh.
Yeah, and because I saw with my own eyes the evils of dictatorship.
Pero nag-stand out na ba si FVR as a person worth watching at that time para sa'yo? Or were you just really looking at it's an opportunity to break the dictatorship?
I think I have to share this untold story. When he was the chief of PC, already martial law was already. I was in prison, yes, but my father, being a former soldier in the army, an Olympic sprinter, representing the Philippines in Paris Games for 4 times, together with Ambrosio Padilla and Simeon Toribio, my godfather in the Catholic Church. My father had some friends in the military. They were already old, like Colonel Patricio. I forgot the one, the chief of Special Action Unit of Malacanang at the time, Patricio Rosales. So in other words, my name was cleared. I did not kill anyone. So I was cleared as an activist.
EDSA na, no?
when he held until EDSA, in EDSA, when he ran for president, we
Yun na
were
yun. I guess that was the first time
we,
that you
we
went
yes,
face to face.
yeah, face to face in our office. Of course, we cross-examined him. Yeah,
Cross-examine.
because I am a frustrated lawyer.
Oo nga.
Imagine, political economist
Oh.
teaching in the College of Political Investigations. But
Did it matter that he was Protestant?
well, many of my comrades in coalition, that is a factor to them, that he's a Bible-believing presidential candidate.
Ah, talaga?
Because if you're a true Protestant, your faith could be partly based on the Bible, if not wholly based on the Bible. But not so much. We just thought that he's a military man with a sterling record in Vietnam, in Korea, and at the same time, we believe he was also, his foundation as a Bible-believing Christian is something to our coalition.
Yeah.
But the main thing to me is his civilized thoughts in, I would say, effecting genuine change for the prophetic destiny of the Philippines. We were convinced that he is a man with visionary leadership, because the Bible says people perish for lack of vision. And he provided that, Philippines 2000. So,
Importante yun, ano?
yeah, importante.
May pathway.
Yeah, merong vision for the future. Not just existing for the sake of existence. The digital politicians, they just want power, money, and fame, but without thinking of the glorious future of the nation.
Okay. And eventually, in-endorse nyo.
Yeah, we filled up to the brim, beyond the brim, Luneta Rizal Park.
Oh.
A special prayer rally
And
for...
correct, yeah, I remember. There was a rally.
That's the time when we openly endorsed him.
That was the first time.
Yes.
No?
First time we involve ourselves.
Yeah. Pero,
Because what's at stake there is...
hindi ba naging challenging because, well, it was a first time ever, no, that your organization endorsed.
my orientation as a former radical activist, then converted to biblical Christianity, the genuine church of the living God must spearhead a no-nonsense transformation of any nation. Because I study the Bible without biases and prejudices.
Brother Eddie, I also remember during the time that after the endorsement, sa mga rallies ni FVR during the campaign, may contingent palagi. Di ba? Ang JIL, ang TJL.
Oh, yeah.
So tumaya talaga. Pati sa kampanya, sinamahan ninyo. Or...
Sobrang taya kasi nga our obsession is the gains of People Power Revolution should not be in vain. Should not be, because tumaya kami dun sa People's Revolution eh. Tapos okay, Cory assumed the presidency. We all know that the main thing that what President Cory did is the restoration of democracy. But we need to continue a kind of government that will build seriously the foundation of the future. And we saw in 2000, in Philippine 2000 vision, the hope, being a former political economist faculty.
Some of the other candidates had their own program of government naman eh. O sa tingin ninyo kulang?
Yes, we believe the principled military background of then Mr. Ramos, backed up by simple but significant, I would say, sharing of General Jose Almonte. That completed our hunger for a visionary leadership. And true to that, they dismantled, Ramos presidency dismantled the monopoly of PLDT, even PAL, and many things. Although, far from perfection, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess it was a work in progress, no?
Yes,
So, someone had to start it.
yes. That's why tumaya talaga kami kasi what's the use na kasi at that time bata pa tayo still so idealistic, you
Yes,
know.
yes. He eventually won.
Yes,
He
yes.
became president in '92. I think you also had a rally for his victory, di ba? Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oo. Did he offer you a position in government?
There was a time, well, in 1 week's time, I think 1 week, in 1 week's time after Mr. Ramos assumed the presidency, I was having my exercise, table tennis. Suddenly, General Almonte called me up.
Okay.
Brother Eddie, the president told me to appoint your guy. Your guy. He could not pronounce the name. As the chairman of PCGG, he said, the president wanted your guy, the one whom you are your co-host in television program. He is go. He could not. He
si
could
ano.
not. Then eventually Gunigundo. So I did not ask any favor from the president. It was initiated by President Ramos. And
You had no expectations.
no expectation because we did the support without any planning or thinking of any favor whatsoever. Plain love for the country and for the future. Just to have hope for the future is enough for me. And then there was a time that Secretary Almonte led to offer me to be ambassador of goodwill. And I told the president, I told President General Almonte, I was made to believe it was their consensus to offer me something. And I thought, give me 2 weeks to pray. And after 2 weeks, the Lord impressed upon my heart. The Lord did not want me to be an employee of the president. Because if there is a time for me to prophetically rebuke the president, if I have the freedom to rebuke for good of the country. So I just wrote a letter. I could not find the letter anymore. But my secretary here, not for my secretary now, he is in Singapore. She remembered my letter, thanking the President Ramos and General Monte for the offer, but I courteously declined because I want to help from the outside.
As a objective,
Objective,
third party.
yes.
Okay.
That's why there were 2 times I personally rebuked President Ramos, in his 6-year term. There were 2 times in history.
Yeah.
But, and Secretary Almonte at the time could not believe that I could do it.
You refused to accept an appointment, formal appointment in FVR's administration. But you were also, I guess he wanted you to be around, still providing support to him because you were an informal advisor, di ba? Spiritual, di ba, minsan kayo, di ba, dumadaan at pinapapasyal sa palasyo noon. Para
It is not official.
Yeah. Oh.
Because many times we invited him sa mga conventions, conferences, anniversaries. There were times that the Lord allowed me to give some food for thought.
He sought you out, actually.
Yes.
Di ba?
Well, there were times as I've told you, in a very courteous way, I even, I would say, how do you call that? Fiscalizing him in a way, if there's some, which I believe is a little bit wrong decision or policy, because I didn't ask anything, you know.
Yeah.
I stake everything. That's why I told him, your success, Mr. President, is our success and success of our God. Your failure will be our failure and failure of our God. That's why. In fairness to him, I think twice happened in his term. It's a serious matter. Vicky Martinez, when she was the appointment secretary. Vicky, she just gave me 30 minutes. It was extended to 2 hours for his own good and for the good of the country. And in fairness to the president, he welcomed me with cheerfulness. He's different from other political leaders whose pride could I would say unwelcome, so to speak, my food for thought. Only another thing that I could not forget, I was the one who led a massive prayer rally in front of Singapore's embassy, regarding floor contemplation case.
Nung 95, sir. Yeah.
Yes, and I led 1 week, 7 nights prayer vigil. So many people, thousands of people came. Even Senator Rene Sagisag came when in that rally. And yet, I did not realize that the Ramos government at the time was already being shaken because of that issue. I did not realize that. It's only after the event that I realized, because General Almonte told me about the things. In fairness to President Ramos, he never bothered me. He did not stop me in pursuing our goal for the retrial, because I was asking the Singaporean government for retrial of floor contemplation, because he was not properly represented by a legitimate lawyer at the time. So the more I respected President Ramos.
I mean, he allowed it, ano? I mean,
Yes.
he was open to
Yes,
the
yes.
dissent and the criticism.
You're right. That's why I agree with some articles that he could be the best president so far.
What does that tell you of the kind of man he was? Na kahit na binabatikos mo na at lahat, binibira mo na at lahat,
That is
tanggap
his
pa rin.
that is his remarkable trait. Kumbaga sa kon, hindi siya onion skin. Hindi siya pikon, no? That is a mark of a genuine statesman. To me, he's consistent patriot. The fact that he pushed Mayor Duterte to run for president, believing probably that what the Ramos government failed to complete, or finish, believing probably that the then Mayor Digong Duterte could deliver what is needed in continuing partly what Ramos government did start. But we all know that there was a time that he became a critic of President Duterte. It means one thing: he's consistent as outstanding patriot. So the more he's different from other traditional politicians, just to flatter,
Let me get back to that. I mean, he would, yun nga, informal yung yung designation mo. But yun nga, no? As you pointed out, in some rather difficult times during his presidency, he sought you out, he asked for your advice. Hindi ba nakakatakot yung ganong klaseng, yung ganong klaseng prospect? He valued your advice. Didn't it worry you na ang bigat ng responsibilidad din sa akin na, di ba, ako'y hinihingan ng payo ng Pangulo ng Pilipinas?
I would like to reiterate that I was not appointed as an official advisor. What? No. In our I would say a friendly relationship with President Ramos and Secretary Jose Almonte, directly and indirectly, we were exchanging notes on vital issues, national issues. And I also used to invite him in my television program, you know, and injecting some biblical principles on matters concerning issues of great importance. And he is open, you know. Unlike some political leaders in history, they refuse to accept unsolicited advice.
Sarado yung isip.
And I believe he is open-minded and he has his own. He is a man of his own. But welcome to accept, I would say, suggestions from the people. To me, that is a biblical concept. Why? Because the Bible teaches there is safety in the multitudes of counselors. And being a Bible-believing Christian also, that's the reason why his upbringing, I believe his parents are also Bible-believing Christians. Not just as hot as we are, you know, but I believe he is guided also by destiny from above.
Brother Eddie, you also supported, kung naalala mo yung People's Initiative, Pirma.
Pirma.
6 years is too short for a good man. Too long for a not good man.
Yeah.
And there were attempts to give him a second shot, no, for a second term, maybe as a president. And yun nga, no, People's Initiative, yung Pirma, sinuportahan mo, no? Sinuportahan ng JIL, PJM.
We absolutely supported that because of our honest belief that the good things that President Ramos' presidency had begun must be finished to completion. But 6 years are too limited. And since I understand basically the Constitution, that there are 3 modes of amending the Constitution. One, Constitutional Convention. Other, Constituent Assembly converting Congress into, in effect, constitutional group that can change the Constitution.
Yeah.
And the third one is People's Initiative. So therefore, as I discussed this, again, Secretary Almonte discussed this to me. So I for many hours, we discussed before we finally decide, because I'm a full-blooded Democrat. I'm against any sign of extending a term just for the sake of prolonging the political power of a certain person. But because of the good performance, I would say good performance of President Ramos' government, the Filipino people should not be denied of the right to make a wider choice. Because the PIRMA is not intended to make President Ramos automatically to continue as president. No. He will only be allowed to run again, thereby giving the Filipino people a wider choice. It is not an automatic extension of his presidency.
Okay.
And what's wrong for the Filipino people to give a wider choice? As long as the election is clean. So, and we honestly believe that major things should be finished in order to complete the Philippine 2000 vision.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think President Cory and Cardinal Sin led in opposing it, and even President Ramos refused to accept it publicly. It was only Secretary Almonte and Pirma Group,
Yeah.
and we were there in supplying multitudes of people, and we are so really encouraged and inspired that there can be continuity for this kind of governance, because that's our dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially, I know what happened to the Philippines.
Sayang nga, no? But, well, Supreme Court struck it down. And then, you're right, ano? Mrs. Aquino and Cardinal Sin came out. And eventually, FVR decided, wag na, no? Tama na to.
Yeah.
Di ba?
One of the ways of changing or amending the Constitution is through people's initiative. So it is being done. It is not unconstitutional. If it is unconstitutional, how come it is one of the three methods of changing or amending the Constitution?
Where could he have... Saan pa siya nagkukulang? Where could he have focused more? I mean, now that he had already decided, sige, 6 years lang talaga. That was really a very short period of time for him. Where could he have focused more para at least maabutan yung goals?
To me, I think three major things. The failure to provide sustainable policy and program of the government in curbing the evils of corruption. Initially, President Ramos did the right thing in ordering the concerned people at the time supervising the Customs Bureau, like General Almonte and Willie, the commissioner then in Customs, Paraino. That I cannot forget this, because this is one of the reasons why I salute Ramos. He told General Almonte, once my wife or my children are involved in any transaction in Bureau of Customs, arrest them.
Okay.
That is one policy.
Okay.
And so in the area of having a sustainable crusade against evils of corruption, this so-called freedom of information law was not given proper emphasis or importance. I believe if there is freedom of information as part of developing culture of the Filipino people, that will be a great breakthrough in curbing the evils of corruption.
Okay.
The second one is the failure to implement a genuine land reform program. When millions of Filipinos are landless in their country, and very few have thousands of hectares of land.
Yeah.
In my study, more or less 20 families directly and indirectly controlling the political and economic powers of the nation.
Kulang pa. No?
Yes, yung area na yun.
And
Last but not least is a genuine legislations, proper right legislations that can ensure genuine clean election. Why genuine clean elections? That vested interest groups should not continue to control the results of political elections. If there is genuine clean elections, all Filipinos, regardless of social, economic stature, can participate in a healthy democratic elections. But now, moneyed candidates still dominate.
Pabor pa rin, ano?
That's why democracy, in a way, is a farce.
How have you kept connected over the years? with
Every now and then, I invited President Ramos to have one-on-one in my longest television program, the Public Affairs Joseph Bayan. Whenever there is important issue or some great issues, I wanted him to be heard by the nation.
Has there been it's developed into a friendship?
Oh yes, I believe it is a friendship based on mutual, not mutual admiration, but a friendship based on sincerity, based on our common love for the country.
If there's something that you can call an FVR legacy as president, what is it?
I can say that he is an outstanding, genuine patriot. Genuine patriot. His loyalty ends. His loyalty to anyone ends when his loyalty to the country's greatest interest is concerned. His loyalty to the country begins. I would say, if Quezon said, my loyalty to my party ends when my loyalty to my country begins, I can say, through my acquaintance with him for many years, he is ready to say his loyalty to any friend, any group of people ends when his loyalty to the greatest interest and welfare of our country begins. A specific example, he is friendly to many political leaders, but when the political leaders are wrong, he did not tolerate. That's why he was the one, according to history, he was the one, according from the mouth of President Duterte, he was the one who pushed him to run. But when he committed this perceived extrajudicial killings, President Ramos refused to support that policy. And also in the China Sea issue. So it means one thing. He is not influenced by any personal association with anyone when what at stake is the greatest interest of our country. That's why I consider him as a consistent, outstanding patriot.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Well, thank you also for your patience. Toby,
Maraming salamat.
God bless you.